Marcus checked his phone at 3:47 a.m. The notification made his hands shake. His entire life savings of $847,000 was gone. Not stolen. Worse, he'd lost it himself in just 96 days. This is the story of how a software engineer making $240,000 a year destroyed everything he'd built and what happened next. 3 months earlier, Marcus was untouchable. 32 years old, senior developer at a tech company in Austin, zero debt, and an investment portfolio that had grown steadily for 8 years. He drove a paid-off Honda, lived in a modest apartment, and his coworkers called him the boring one because he never bought lunch out. Every dollar had a purpose. Every purchase was calculated. He'd been on track to retire at 45. Then his college roommate, James, called. James had always been the charismatic one, the guy who could sell water to a fish. Now he was selling something else. Options trading, not the boring kind Marcus had dabbled in. James was making $15,000 a day from his laptop. He sent screenshots, real brokerage accounts, real money. Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in years, the fear of being left behind. The first trade was just $5,000, a simple call option on a tech stock earnings report. Marcus spent 12 hours researching, reading analyst reports, and convincing himself this was smart. The stock jumped 18% after hours. He woke up to $11,000. He'd made more in one night than his neighbors made in a month. His heart was racing. This feeling, this rush, it was better than anything he'd experienced. He told himself he'd stop at $20,000 in profits, get out clean, treat his girlfriend Sarah to a nice vacation. But the next trade made $19,000. Then another made $27,000. The math started changing in his head. If he could make $50,000 a week, that's $2.6 million a year. He could retire in 18 months instead of 13 years. The numbers made perfect sense at 2 a.m. Sarah noticed the change first. Marcus stopped coming to bed at normal hours. He'd be up until 4 a.m. watching Asian markets open, refreshing his brokerage app every 30 seconds. She'd find him at the kitchen table, surrounded by energy drink cans, his laptop screen glowing with red and green candles. When she asked if everything was okay, he'd snap at her. Tell her she wouldn't understand. He was building their future. Couldn't she see that? Week 7, Marcus made his biggest bet yet. $200,000 on semiconductor stocks before a Federal Reserve announcement. James said it was a sure thing. The whole Discord group was doing it. Marcus didn't even hesitate anymore. That voice in his head that used to ask, "What if you're wrong?" had gone silent. He was right too many times. The market would do what it always did. He refreshed the page. Down 8%. Must be a glitch. It wasn't a glitch. The Fed announcement went in the opposite direction. The entire tech sector collapsed. Marcus watched $200,000 become $91,000 in 40 minutes. He couldn't breathe. His vision tunneled. This wasn't possible. He'd done the research. Everyone said this was the play. His hands were shaking so badly he couldn't type. He needed to fix this. He had to make it back. Right now. This is where most people would stop. Take the loss. Learn the lesson. Marcus did what every gambling addict does. He doubled down. He moved money from his retirement accounts, paying the penalties, paying the taxes. He didn't care. He took a $150,000 home equity line of credit against the house he'd been saving to buy. Sarah didn't know. He'd worry about telling her later, after he made it all back. It would only take one good week. The Discord group had another tip. A pharmaceutical company is about to announce trial results. 97% chance of approval, they said. Marcus put in $412,000. Everything he had left, plus the borrowed money. The trial failed. The stock dropped 62% before trading. Marcus sat in his parked car outside his office for 3 hours. He couldn't go inside, couldn't face anyone. His phone kept buzzing. Margin calls. Sarah was texting, asking why there was a credit alert on his phone. That night, he told her everything. Sarah didn't yell. That would have been easier. She just cried quietly and asked him one question. When did you stop being the person I knew? Marcus didn't have an answer. He'd been so focused on the money on the trades, on making it back, that he hadn't noticed himself disappearing. The man who used to read books on Sunday mornings was gone. The guy who made her laugh at farmers markets had vanished. He traded himself for the chance at millions. The bankruptcy lawyer said Marcus was lucky. No kids, no major assets to lose, still young enough to rebuild. Lucky. The word felt like a slap. Marcus had lost everything except his job, barely. His boss gave him one chance, told him to get help or get out. Sarah moved back to her parents' house, said she needed time to think. The apartment felt massive and empty. Just Marcus and the laptop he couldn't bring himself to throw away. Rock bottom came on a Tuesday. Marcus was sitting in a financial counseling session that his company mandated. The counselor, a woman in her 50s named Patricia, asked him what the money represented. He started to give her the rehearsed answer about security and freedom. She stopped him, asked him again, what did the money really represent? Marcus broke. It represented proof. Proof that he was smart enough, special enough, better than the life he came from. Patricia didn't offer sympathy. She told him something that changed everything. You weren't investing. You were trying to outrun yourself. She was right. Marcus had grown up poor, food stamps poor. The lights are getting cut off. Poor. Every dollar he'd saved was armor against ever feeling that way again. But somewhere along the way, enough stopped being enough. He needed extraordinary. He needed to prove that the poor kid was dead and buried. Instead, he'd become him again, just with better vocabulary. The climb back took 2 years. Marcus sold everything. The car became a bus pass. The apartment became a room in a house with 3 roommates. He picked up freelance coding work on weekends, put every extra dollar toward the debt. 60-hour weeks, ramen for dinner. The same life he'd lived at 22, now at 34. His old Discord group kept posting wins. He muted the notifications, then deleted the app, then blocked James's number. Some doors needed to stay closed. Have you ever lost money trading? Share your story in the comments section below. Sarah came back after 9 months, not because things were better, because she saw him actually change, saw him go to therapy every Thursday, saw him turn down a high-risk job offer that would have paid more. She said the old Marcus was back, the real one, and she'd missed him. They started over slowly. Coffee dates, walks in the park, conversations about feelings instead of futures. It felt like breathing after holding your breath for years. Today, Marcus is 36. He has $43,000 saved. It took him longer to save that than it took to lose $800,000. He drives a used Corolla, lives in a small house with Sarah, who's now his wife. They're expecting their first kid in November. His coworkers still call him the boring one. He finally understands that it was never an insult. Boring meant steady. Boring meant he'd be there tomorrow. Boring meant his daughter would never know what food stamps look like. He thinks about those 96 days often. Not with regret, though that's there too. Mostly with recognition. He'd needed to lose everything to find out what everything actually meant. It wasn't the number in his account. It was the person he saw in the mirror. It was Sarah's hand in his while they walked their dog. It was knowing that enough could actually be enough if he let it. The market kept going up after he quit. His old positions would have made millions. He doesn't care anymore. He'd found something that couldn't be traded or lost or gambled away. He'd found himself again, and this time, he wasn't for sale. Subscribe for more stories that could save you from disasters.